All right. Good afternoon, Deborah. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for asking, Danielle.
Yeah, good. So we were talking about some data entry positions that I had, and I came across your resume, and definitely was very impressed by your skill set. So I
Thank
like
you.
to work my way backwards. So
Okay.
you worked for Martin Engineering in Illinois. Goodness, well, I'll let you tell me. How many years were you there?
Just a little over 30.
Okay, so about 30 years there with Martin Engineering. And what did you do there? Where did you start? Where did you end? Walk me through that, please.
Okay. Sure. I was actually hired in the IT department temporarily um, for maternity leave for a person. And so I worked into customer service after she returned. So I learned a lot about customer service and answering the phones and entering orders. And of course, the system, was before Windows. So I spent a couple years there, and then I moved back into the IT department, mainly as database management. I didn't get into much of the hardware, but I did the upgrades for the ERP system. I maintained all the data myself. We were a place that ran 24/7, so there was third shift workers there also. Um, I did um, the changeover from the older software into this four shift, and then I managed that for over 20 years, moving it up to SQL Server environment. A lot of the reporting was done in SSRS, the SQL Server Reporting Services, and there was a lot of work being done in the integration services, the SQL integration services. Of course, there was add-on legacy products that had to connect. So a lot of that back in the day was using Microsoft Access, and then of course a lot of that older stuff had to get upgraded eventually. So it was constant work, constant creating reports, data dashboards. Um, so it was a little bit of everything.
Okay. And then you ended
Labels.
there, not that long ago, 2022. And then you took a job, it looks like, is that a banking? The banking
Yes.
industry. Okay, while you were looking for something ideal. And then we talked about next role was also similar to what you were doing at Martin, the senior ERP implementation specialist. Were you doing the same type of work there?
Yes, they actually supported the import four shift system. So I fit right in. There was a lot of project management and support desk and a lot of different areas. So eventually I was doing installs, and I was actually doing the IT support desk, which was really the customer support desk, because this company would actually have a contract with a certain other company to monitor the night processing. So I was on call, sometimes, we rotated weeks. So that was 24-hour on call. A lot of billing the customer for the hours that were worked for any changes
Mhm.
that we did. And then also coordinating with the customer on which time, what was their downtime to actually get this work done.
Okay. And so as far as the systems that you were using, it looks like a lot of Microsoft here on your resume. Tell me about your Excel skills.
Um, well, when Excel first came out, uh, which is a long time ago, I had to train employees
Hmm.
and users to use Excel. So I actually created a training class where I had beginning, intermediate, and advanced training to actually hold classrooms for the users. Um, so that was earlier in the day. Excel is something that always was used to actually export data into Excel and send that to whoever was in need of that report. And then they did a lot of times their pivot tables and things like that. I'm familiar with them and I've reviewed the pivot tables, but a lot of that stuff I would handle through the SQL script before I gave it to them.
What about VLOOKUP, pivot
Yes.
tables? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh,
And you
yes.
talked about the pivot tables. Okay. And data, of course, you know, it goes without saying that your main job was data. So, of course, the importance of accuracy and detailed work.
Yes. And actually, I had to, one of my jobs at the end of Martin Engineering was I was actually like the project manager. So I would go into accounting, purchasing, you know, the manufacturing part, customer service, and try to streamline what they were doing when a lot of that was manual entry. So I would work with them. You know, some things were fixable easy and some, you know, had to take a lot of thinking and creative thinking.
Sure.
I ended up using SQL SSRS for some data form inputting. So instead of reporting, I actually had them enter data through the drop downs and actually insert into a table. So it made it a little cleaner instead of going through some of the complex screens.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Deborah, well, I'm going to go ahead and pause this part of the interview. I mean,
Okay.
gosh, your experience is golden here. You, especially with the way that you know, companies are upgrading a lot of their systems, and you know, you just already have that knowledge already built in. So
Yeah. One thing is it was amazing through all those years how, you know, you think you can't get it done, and eventually, you know, I need this, and you know, eventually it works out. But
yeah,
some things aren't as easy as, you know, some of the bigger projects. But it was always intriguing to me to, you know, to start from the start to the finish, kind of to see the end result.
okay, absolutely. All right, well, Deborah, don't go anywhere. We've got a few more
Okay.
things to write about. I'm going to just stop this part of the
Okay.
recording.
Thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome.